Welcome back. Today we're going to do a quick one on the CVJ Seven. So the Seven is a unique set. It's actually an over-the-ear earbud. So we're going to split this into maybe two parts, and we'll do a close-up of what it looks like here. Then I'm actually going to put on the microphone so you can hear what that sounds like. But yeah, really cool set. This one is actually the game version. They call it V.Game, I think, right? So over here, you can see there's actually two versions. This is the V.Game. It has the microphone. There's also a music version and a standard version. So you can get it without the music version has a normal cable and no vibration unit. And the standard cable does not have a microphone, but it has a modular, has the modular connectors with it. The game version comes with the black cable with the microphone and the boom mic, which is there. But for modular, you end up with 3.5, and you have the option of this USB-C for for recording your microphone on your PC or laptop or phone, however you do it. But yeah, cool set. So kind of a cable setup, just as Assassin has. So you get this almost a T-split or a Y-split for the IM shell. Your normal cable plugs in here and wraps around your ear. This is the boom mic, and we'll kind of switch now to that, and we'll do the rest of the review using the Seven microphone, the one that came in the box. And I will say that at least on Assassin, I thought that the microphone and the microphone cable were actually really, really nice accessories. And I think the microphone, this concept of the boom microphone on the cable with a little Y splitter, I think it actually works out really well for at least the CVJ products. I haven't tried other ones, but yeah, I think it was actually a pretty good idea that's executed pretty well. So Seven, and I think I will say the same thing about Seven. I was a little hesitant, a flat head over the ear. I wasn't sort of sold on that idea. I think the whole package as a whole and how useful it is I think I can see a use case where people are really want to do casual gaming. They want to do casual music listening. They want to use this in the office where you need sort of a lower isolation. You want to hear your environment. Yeah, I think CVJ sort of hit a unique niche there of a set that can cover all of those three use cases and sound reasonably well in doing all three of those things. But is it a master of none? Is it going to replace any of your IMs? Probably not. Is it going to replace any of your earbuds? Probably not. Your gaming headphones? Probably not. But if you need one device that can do all three, and you're on the go or traveling, or just didn't want to carry all of your gear, I think having one unit that can do all of these things is actually pretty cool. At least there aren't that many of them that can do it that well, and I think this one, I do think its usefulness exceeds its specialty in replacing some of your other devices. Plus, it's bassy, fun sound signature, and that always kind of gets to me, and I'll always listen to bassy, fun sets, and this one is no different than that. But yeah, I do think CVJ is finding a niche in this gaming, and the V-Game version, I think, is the one that is probably the one I like the most. I think just thinking about having the music version without the vibration unit, I think that's fine, but I wouldn't necessarily buy this one just for music. So I think having the microphone cable, and again, if you're not going to use the microphone cable, then don't buy the gaming version, but the microphone and microphone cable, the vibration unit is sort of a bonus. But yeah, I think just having the accessories for gaming and the ability to game with it, casual game with it, and still listen to music, I think kind of warrants the additional $10 that they charge for the V.Gaming version. So sound, I'll call it a warm, smooth, lower centric, different than Harman and V-shapes. I would say it's closest to maybe a blonde BL03 in that style. And don't pay super close attention to earbud graphs. This is probably the first one I've actually done, and I was just curious to see if it resembled how it sounds, and I think it does. So you get this really huge bass arc, right? So this is a mid-bass heavy bass arc. And like I said, it's almost like a blonde BL03. You get this really heavy, mid-bassy, rich, full sound on the lower end, and then they bring down the treble. So the treble is about a notch or two lower than what you are expecting from a Harman or a V-shaped signature where your treble is going to be way up here. This is lower centric, so lots of bass, and then a treble that is present, but a kind of level or two below where you're expecting it to be. And this is sort of a smooth, fun, warm, non-fatiguing, but still can hear some treble out here style. And so yeah, not all that far from BL03. Again, a lot of the naturalness of BL03 comes from the amount of mid bass that and warmth and smoothness that carries over into the midsection. That's exactly what you get here. So I would say this signature leans more towards music listening than gaming. For their assassin, they had a weird, really high spike over here to really, have really accurate front and center sound effects. This one is definitely a warmer, smoother style. Plus, it's in an earbud, so it's outside of your ear. It's not nearly as intense as an IEM. So I think for gaming, it's a maybe, like I just said. Those looking for sharp accuracy, these are for more fun, casual style gaming, and I think they do that pretty well. If you are looking for a first-person shooter, super accurate imaging, that's not exactly what you get in this style earbud. The downsloping treble is really interesting if you haven't heard it before, if you haven't heard earbuds, but it does require some more volume for balance. And kind of as you're expecting, there's a lot of bass there, and if you're at too low a volume, you hear a lot of this, and you don't hear enough of this. So you got to turn the volume up so this slides a little bit in place, and you can hear these two kind of at the same level. So do be aware. I wasn't a huge fan of them at lower volumes for that simple reason. So for gaming, the gaming version versus the music, I think the cable and the mic are worth it, but don't buy it for the vibration. I think the vibration unit, this is what the third one that I've heard, Kanoko, Assassin, and then this one. And I think this one is the hardest one to hear, and I think part of it is the metal shell. I will still say it's a work in progress. I think, as I said, this is the third version that I've tried. It's just more audible, I think, either on the plastic shell or was in ear on the Assassin. This one is really harder to hear, and maybe they slid it around, but I think the frequency that it always responds to, you expect it to be in the sub bass, but it's not. It's way further up. I think it was about 140, and it's really hard to isolate on a metal shell compared to something like Assassin. I think Led Zeppelin tends to communication breakdown, good times, bad times. I think those the drums tend to hit the right place to hear the vibration unit do something. But so I'll say that the vibration unit on this one not as audible, but it still has a 14.2 millimeter dynamic driver. So you're still getting a big driver. That's going to be more impactful than a 10 millimeter anyway. So I would say don't buy it for the vibration unit, but you're still getting a bonus on a 14 millimeter dynamic driver anyway. So the bass, like I just said, it's fun bass. It's the fun maker here. Not far from mid bass heavy earbud styles. Not much sub bass extension, but enough to not notice that it is missing. Again, that is more of an earbud over the ear style where the sub bass extension isn't all that extended. On the graph, you see a heavy bass, but the bass leveler will be the fit, and the tighter fit will be more bass. So I will say that this looks pretty huge, and it's really huge because I was pressing the shell tight against the coupler. So this is more of a maximum bass response. How it sits against your ear with a looser fit, you're down somewhere below this level. So yeah, it's not nearly as intense as it looks because of the fit and because it's not in your ear, and there's going to be some bass leakage between the foam and the shell and your ear. So yeah, it looks huge on the graph, but if you actually push the shell against your ear, you'll actually hear the higher bass response, and then when you let go, you'll sort of hear it drop back down to where it is naturally fitting against your ear. So one of those things to notice if you aren't used to listening to earbuds. The mids, again, more like BL03, warmer, smoother, and you just get that from that bass kind of running right into the mids. These are not leaned out Harman at all. These are full sounding mids, especially you guys who are used to hearing male vocals that are leaned out, way over here, and the male vocals don't have any body. So now we're like way up here, and there's just a lot of body, some thickness to those lower mids, and I think it's just a fun sound. If you're really into super details, this isn't the one. It's not really heavy on details. It's more of a natural dynamic driver sound. Um, Definitely got to be into a warmer, smoother sound signature if you're going to think about owning these and listening to these for music. If you are a leaner, detail type person, not the signature for you. And then treble. Again, this is the downslope where you hear the upper range a step below where you would expect it on a Harman if you're used to really energetic Harman female vocals or even V-shaped guitars, that high energy sound. This is not that. This is, quite a step or two below where you're expecting it to be if that's what your favorite sound signature is. So these are present treble, but not energetic, not fatiguing. You've got to turn it up enough to hear them all the way out as far as you want to hear them. So yeah, slightly different. It's just if you're used to IEMs, having an earbud that is outside of your ear just sounds a little bit different, and how the treble response is. So I wouldn't say it's missing or rolled off too early. It's just simply a level or two under, and why most mids sound smoother and less detailed, but also why you can turn these up without fatigue. So part of that lower treble level doesn't translate or doesn't layer on top of the mids to give you those details and micro details and sharpness. Again, warmer, smoother. You gotta really commit to that to really get into the sound signature. And it has a sort of a downside on gaming. For gaming, this level is really harder to do pinpoint imaging, not as directional as you get from IEMs with the boosted treble spots like Assassin. Assassin was sort of very accurate. It had a high treble upper mid spike that was really sharp, and it was really hard to miss some really small details. It pushed them right in your face, and this is definitely a different sound signature. So, and that's why I said it was more for a casual gamer as opposed to maybe a hardcore first person shooter. This one does gaming okay. It just wasn't as accurate and pinpoint um, accuracy as you get on something with a in ear or a sharper treble level. And stage, you still get because these are earbuds and they're sitting outside of your ear, you still get that earbud style width. You get some height out of that. The depth is not as much because of the treble and some other things. But yeah, I think stage wise, I think it hit pretty much where earbuds should hit, especially at that price point. So I wouldn't say it was super good or bad at all. It was kind of right where it should be. So that is what I got on 7. So thank you guys again for tuning in, and I will see you next time.